getting my streaming software going. So I had a bit of a poke around rather to see if I can get it working, and it seems to be back up again. I'm not really sure what was going on there, but there we go. So what I'm going to be doing today are some epic battlegrounds. I personally really like them, and for as long as I've been doing PvP, they've always been my favorite. Now, as I've said in some of my previous streams, I'm not what you would call a hardcore PvPer by any stretch of the imagination. I'm approaching very slowly 100,000 honorable kills, which will be awesome to get, but it's taken me about 9 years to do it. So I discovered pretty early on that I don't like things like Warsong Gulch or that sort of thing. It's just, I find it really boring. I like how big and grand the maps on the massive battlegrounds are, like a la Conquest and Alterac Valley. So that's always what I'm taken to. Now, I mean, I know, I've tried Arena maybe once. Actually, I don't even think it was Arena. I think it was Arena Skirmish. And I'm really pretty bad at it, to be honest. I've always preferred to heal and do things like that. But I mean, it's just something I do, sort of when I get bored with questing and doing dailies and world quests and that sort of thing. It's a nice option to have to add a bit of a variety to the game. So what I've taken to doing recently, given that druids have such diversity, is just queuing for basically every role and seeing what I get. A bit of a lucky dip, as they say in Australia. So we'll see what happens. Now, historically, I will nearly always get healer, which I really do enjoy doing. I haven't gotten tank yet before, and DPS comes up every once in a while, but we'll see how we go. Now, I've got about supposedly 2 minutes to kill. It can be a lot more than that. We'll see how we go. If it rolls on for more than a few minutes and I'm not really getting anything, I might pause the stream and come back to you when it actually starts again, because I think you're here to watch the game rather than listen to me talk. So we'll see how we go. So at the moment, I'm just killing some time by doing a bit of herbalism. And slowly trying to finish my alchemy stuff, which I'm a bit sad at how long it takes to do to max out alchemy in this particular expansion. In previous expansions, I found it one of the fastest professions to actually max out, and for some reason that's not the case anymore. I found, as a matter of fact, leatherworking at the beginning anyway, to be the most quick to do, because you tended to get, and I forget which kind of leather it was, but you tended to get the particularly rare leather dropping fairly frequently. And at the beginning, before they nerfed it, you could use that to level virtually to 150. And given how fast it was dropping, it was pretty quick to do. So unfortunately, alchemy's not like that, sadly. But I do find alchemy one of the more practical professions to do. I don't do professions to make money in the auction house or anything like that. It's more something that will be useful to me in some way. So here we go. The queues just popped. Not surprisingly, I got healer. Let's see what battleground we got. Okay, we got all Conquest, which is all right. I think one of the things I actually do quite enjoy is Alliance is not just us anymore. We do actually lose, and as a matter of fact, we've been losing quite a lot. As you see, this warrior here says you're ready to lose a BG. I like the fact that it's actually competitive again. Like Alterac Valley, that I remember for a really long time, was basically you rush all the way down to the bottom, you ignore most of the towers, and you just focus the boss down, and then it's over in like a shorter time than you were actually queued up. And to me, that's not really very fun at all. I wasn't around, sadly, for the instances of Alterac Valley, which would last for hours and hours and hours. I mean, it sounds amazing. And you could just, you know, get a single battleground in the whole time you were playing that day, and just have. I mean, that to me sounds pretty amazing. I haven't had one of those yet. I have had a few battlegrounds that have gone on for an hour or over an hour, which I thought was actually really quite enjoyable. I've seen some people say they find it boring and that sort of thing. That's personally not my view of it. I think if you like a really fast-paced battleground where there's a lot of constant combat, I think you're probably better off with the other battlegrounds, just the random ones. That's just my my personal opinion. The one problem that I've seen recently, because of some of the changes, they've nerfed glaives, so Dox has become a bit less viable as an option. Some people disagree. There's, at least on the Alliance side, there's a lot of disagreements typically about where to go. So you end up getting some people going to Dox and some people going mid, and it can end up just disastrous. So we'll see how we go now. I mean, if the Horde side is having the same sorts of problems that we do on the Alliance side, it evens out a bit. But it can... I've seen and experienced a whole lot of yelling and saltiness on the Alliance side when people just really can't get along with one another, which is a bit sad because we're here to have fun with this game, not to yell and scream at each other. I mean, I can understand frustration can get to you, but it's meant to be fun in the end. And if it's not fun, then if all that's fun to you is winning and the thought of losing just makes it unbearable, then you might not be doing the right thing in the game. Just a thought. I mean, for me, I could have an amazing time and lose. I mean, I would much rather have a match that's really close and it's going back and forth and there's time for both sides to shine and lose in the end. I mean, that to me is a good experience. It doesn't matter so much what the outcome is, so long as I feel like I've had a meaningful impact on the game and it's actually had some action and engagement to it. So that's really what I look for in these battlegrounds. And thankfully, I mean, again, in my opinion, it's really competitive now. And I do feel, on the whole, it's fairly balanced between the Horde and the Alliance. I mean, the Alliance is winning roughly maybe half the time, just to a rough guess. And I think that's fair to me. I don't want to completely destroy the Horde all the time, because then you end up with 30-minute queues again, which, I mean, frankly, I do get from time to time. I know the Horde has historically not liked these large-scale battlegrounds, and back when we could opt out of them, from what I understand, it was really standard for the Horde to just give a miss on all the big ones. So I think the change to pull out the large-scale battlegrounds was a good one. I completely agree with that, because you know what you're getting yourself into when you select these. You're not going to go, oh crap, I got Alterac Valley, I really hate that one, because there's only two at the moment in these huge battlegrounds. You get a la Conquest or you get Alterac Valley, and that's pretty much all there is to it. So there's no surprises, and I do think that was a really good call on Blizzard's part. I'm running out of mana. So I'm going to go run back here and have a bit of a nibble. What am I eating? Free-range goat's milk, which, of course, is a reasonable thing to do in the midst of a battle. Doesn't quite make sense why that would be the case. Come on, you can do it. All right, I think I'm going to have to do Shadow Meld. And then goat's milk. Please? Crap. All right, well, that's not working very well. I'll just have to wait for it to rejuvenate the old-fashioned way. All right, so it seems like we capped mid, which is good. Doesn't mean we're going to win. It's anyone's game so far. It really comes down to coordination, I find, which is, again, it's a nice even balancing act. Sometimes you'll have pre-mades and you have just it's obvious from the start that we're not going to pull this off, or we will completely trounce them, but it's good to have it a bit of an unknown. Come on, there's nobody attacking me. Let me drink. I want my goat's milk. Why are you not letting me drink? Okay. Apparently it's not going to cooperate with me. So I'm just going to jump on the back of this and heal everyone. You get a heal. And you get a heal. Everyone gets a heal. One of the things I do see increasingly with Isle of Conquest is people think it's ridiculous to devote one of these demolishers to taking out the cannons on the tower of the keep. You know, and I actually got yelled at and insulted pretty badly for suggesting it. But I find if you ignore it, your stuff gets taken out immediately. I mean, it's just you lose your stuff and then you're just sitting there having to run bombs. It's not a good strategy. So you really do need to have somebody focusing on these things on the towers up here just to keep them occupied. So the fact that they are doing that here, I think, is a really good strategy. It's definitely one that I suggest. Not everybody agrees with me, of course, which is okay. It's a free country. But it's definitely in our interest to keep the cannons occupied. Alright, I'm going to go see if anybody else needs help here. How are we doing? Glaives have been nerfed, don't do much damage. Okay, so it seems like they're discussing what the situation is. Okay, I can't mount this one. It's Shadow Veil. That's interesting. I didn't know that. How many people in the keep? I don't want to just jump in there as a one-soul healer. That could be unpleasant. Alright, what are we doing here? I'm going to stop running around just aimlessly in a circle and actually go make myself useful. How are we doing so far? Okay, well, if honorable kills are anything to go by, which they aren't always, the Alliance side is doing all right. I mean, point-wise, it's within 1 or 2 points, and as a matter of fact, we're down slightly, if that's an indication of performance. Ultimately, how are the gates going? The gates, Alliance gate is at 67%, Horde gate's at 61%. It's pretty close. I would not, if I were a betting man, I would not try to call this match at the moment. Race to boss game, as Moon Kid says. That's absolutely it. I really, really like these magic brooms for PvP, and particularly for running bombs when you're inside the keep. The fact that there's no cast time for these is really fantastic. Why did this not drop? Okay, you saw it here. I was trying to plant the bomb. Plant it. Why is this not working? C4 bombs. Okay. I'm really confused. Okay, let's refresh the UI and see if that helps at all. I'm wondering why it is that I'm not actually able to plant this. That's really annoying. Can I cast heals on you? Okay, something's okay. I'm observing that I'm not actually able to cast heals on anybody at the moment. What on earth is going on here? That's really a bit aggravating. Alright, I'm going to have to cut this stream short after I've finished with this match, because I'm really a bit limited in what I can do to help the side. Which is a bit frustrating, because nothing seems to be working. I can do AoE heals, but I cannot lay bombs. Okay, fortunately, I have more useful teammates who are actually contributing to the... See, when I'm casting on myself, even though I have people targeted. Well. It looks like I will be doing resto DPS on this boss, because I'm not really doing anything productive on the healing front. I can do a couple of things. Oh, I can't even cast these. Oh my lord. Okay, so I can't target anybody for oh, so aggravating. All I'm doing is casting all these heals on myself. Except for Wild Growth, which is managing to hit other people, which is good. Oh my god. Alright, well, I guess the best I can do is put down the AoE heals and do tranquility, which is really aggravating. I'm glad we won. I really didn't contribute to that. I'm disappointed. Yes, I got some honorable kills for it, but I didn't really pull my weight, which is a bit sad, really. But there you go. I'm gonna cut this short right now. I'll try to jump back on again once I figure out what the heck is going on here. But there's our Conquest for you. We'll catch you later.